Well, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live. Hope you're having a great day. I am. Okay, and we want to say hello to a few of our dear friends, faithful followers. We appreciate it. And who's number one on the hit parade this afternoon? Jen from Cape Breton. Nick from our staff. Kevin, Oshawa, Beverly, South Carolina. Kevin, how are you? Wendy from Markham. Brenda, good afternoon. Chantal, Espanola, Micheline, good afternoon. Martha, how are you? Barbara, Kansas. And Janice from Brampton. Denise, Alberta. Mary, how are you? Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. Whether it's morning or afternoon, you're there. Francis, Denise, Kansas City, Georgie, Halifax. Lynn, Werner, good afternoon. Donna, Park Hill. Fran from Orangeville. And Leanne, Kitchener, Maryland. PEI. Sandra, how are you? Rita and Rose from Peterborough. Thanks for coming on. Marianne and Anna, Gatineau, Quebec. IT from Unionville. Deb from Timmins. And we appreciate you more than you know. Jeanette from Kapuskasing, Margaret. And Donna, Bell Valley, Ontario. Okay, a couple of more, let's get going. Linda. You know how much I love those Lindas out there. Mary. Amara, having a decaf coffee. Good idea. Jeanette from our staff. Crystal. Tarana. William from Markham. Anne from Manitoba. And Kevin's getting his coffee as we get ready. And Etta. Karen from Coldwater. And Gertie, how are you? Renee, Newfoundland. We love Newfoundland. Irene, New Brunswick. We love New Brunswick too. Okay. Jean from South River. And Rebecca, how are you, Rebecca? Calendar. Dorothy, Brenda, Ham. Okay, guys, I am going to answer. Someone sent me this yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And it's called The Unpopular Truths About Sugar. Okay? The Unpopular Truths About Sugar. Somebody sent it to me. I looked at it. I read it. And this guy is saying insulin resistance is caused by fat. Okay? Insulin resistance is caused by fat. Diabetes, he says, is a disease of fat toxicity. That part I don't disagree with. Okay? Necessarily. Everyone thinks that sugars and carbs cause diabetes, and they're right. Okay? And he said that's 100% wrong. It's wrong in every way, and let me explain it in a simple way. Okay? When you eat a lot of fat, oil, and grease, it clogs up, and when you eat sugar, your pancreas secretes insulin to tell yourselves, hey, fuel is coming, get ready. And so the sugar you eat goes into your bloodstream, glucose. It's going to your cells. It's in your blood. But the problem is that when you have fat toxicity, fatty deposits, excess fat, grease, and oil in your muscle tissue, it clogs them up and they're unable to open up. Okay. Now, I don't know who this guy is. He says his first name is Chris. I didn't look him up. Chris, you got it wrong. Okay? And I say that in all due respect. Okay? your thinking is wrong. You've got part of it right. Okay? And so I'm entitling this program today, Don't Fear Fat. Okay? Don't fear fat. And it's not fat that makes you fat. It's not oil and fat, and he calls it grease, that clogs up your muscles. That's not what happens, guys, okay? I am going to go over, and most of you know this, but I like to go over stuff, teach it and repeat, rinse and repeat, okay? I do that for myself, by the way. So if you thought you were going to get any kind of different teaching, no, it's me. It's what I do. But let me tell you what happens in nutrition, what happens in food, how your food is broken down. And that's where Chris is wrong. Do not fear fat. Okay? What he said is wrong, because let's follow again a piece of bread. Okay? Let's follow it. You just had a piece of bread. The problem with bread is that it's very loaded with carbohydrate. Okay? Today's bread is almost devoid of proteins, got a little bit, but it's mostly a carbohydrate. And where Chris got it wrong is he's thinking, let's just think he's thinking bacon. So bacon, because of grease, he said, and fat. There's a lot of fat in bacon. So we're going to follow bacon as it breaks down in your body, and then we're going to follow, let's do bread first. Okay? Bread turns to sugar rapidly. Okay? Bread turns to sugar rapidly. Insulin, because there's a fair amount of sugar being produced, your pancreas secretes insulin to take that sugar and store it. Okay? If you don't use it right away as energy, it's going to be stored. And Chris got this right. Muscles, liver, didn't talk about that, and fat cells. Okay? Those are your three areas that insulin wants to store sugar. Okay? Now, when he says, if you have too much fat in your muscle, okay, the only problem with Chris, he's right in a way. How did that fat get there? This is where Chris is wrong. You didn't get fat in your muscles from bacon. Bacon grease, bacon oil. Okay? By the way, the oil in bacon. Okay, you see that oily, greasy, you think it's bad. Well, then you must think olive oil is bad, because it's the same grease. Olive oil, bacon. Olive oil, bacon. Both have oleic acid. Okay? So, yeah, if your muscles are all filled up with fat, but they didn't get filled up by eating fat. Your muscles get filled up with fat when you eat sugar. Carbohydrates are stored as glycogen. Okay? They're stored as fat. So where Chris got it wrong, it's not because you're eating a lot of fat. Now look, there's bad fats, okay? I talk to you guys about this all the time. There's bad fats. There's bad oils. There's seed oils. They try and couch it by calling them vegetable oils. Sunflower and safflower and soy oil and canola oil and rapeseed oil and all these oils which are meant for your car, not for your body, they are bad. They're terrible for you. But that's not what he was talking about. Chris was talking about bacon, eggs, meat with protein and fat. That's what you get in God's world. Okay? Animal products. Why do you think I love eggs, meat, and cheese? Animal products have fat and protein. Very, very little carbohydrate. Okay? So diabetes is not caused by fat. It is caused by fat in your liver. I agree with that. The liver is the organ that starts the process of chronic metabolic diseases like diabetes. I agree with them. The liver, the problem is he's wrong nutritionally. It just doesn't work like that. Sugar turns to fat as storage. Not fat. Don't fear fat. Don't fear fat. Because, well, let's talk about cancer for a minute. Okay? He wanted to talk about diabetes, and I want to talk about cancer. Okay? Then we'll come back to diabetes. Cancer, okay, cannot. Okay, what did I tell you? Was it last week or? I do so many of these podcasts, I can't remember exactly now. And by the way, just look this up. 500, since January the 19th, which was my birthday, to February, what is it today? The 16th? Is it? I think so. Can't remember now. 554,000 views on Facebook. Between, not even a month. 554,000 views on Facebook. Guys, we appreciate that. That's you guys. It's sharing. And even Facebook shares it. We appreciate it. Okay? Now, let's get back to cancer. I talked to you about this last week. One of the greatest findings, and it should wake us all up in cancer, is that cancer cells have 7 to 10 times more docking stations for insulin. Listen to what I said. Cancer cells has 7 to 10 times more docking stations for insulin. Okay? That is significant, guys. If you think for 1 minute that it's not a good idea to cut out sugar and carbohydrates if you've got cancer, I don't know what to tell you. Cancer cells have 7 to 10 times more docking stations for insulin than the normal cell in your body. Okay? 1. 2, cancer cells need fuel. Cancer cells. And the only fuel they can consume. Cancer cells can't eat, do not consume fat or protein They only consume glucose, sugar. Cancer cells are like teenagers. They're ravenous. They are hooked on sugar. So Chris, my friend, who wrote this article, you're 100% wrong. Because when you think of fat in the liver, you assume that fat in the liver came from eating fat, like steak, or eggs, or hamburger, or bacon, or cheese. Well, you're wrong. That's not how food works. As a matter of fact, I've told you this many, many a time. When you eat steak, see the fat around it? That's where your fat-soluble vitamins are, by the way. Okay? Don't fear fat. Plus, okay? Cancer cells can't consume it. You're eating steak. You know what I said in my Sun Steak and Steel book, coming out soon? Cancer hates steak. It hates it because it can't feed on it. It needs glucose. It needs something quick. It needs sugar. And when the liver gets full of fat from sugar, from crappy carbohydrates, you're in deep trouble. Why is that? Because the liver, when the Costco parking lot gets full, and it'll never get full if you eat steak. The Costco parking lot, your liver, will never, ever, ever get full from steak. It won't. It's not how it works. Steak lubricates. Bacon, that oil, it lubricates. You should be eating enough of that stuff to slide out of rooms. It makes your blood vessels nice and slippery. That's what you want. You know what butter does? You've seen butter. It makes things, non-sticky. Well, that's what happens in your blood vessels. In your liver. The liver gets full of glycogen, stored fat from glucose rapidly. And when it's full, guess what it does? You produce triglycerides. And triglycerides are 3 triglycerides, 3 fat balls. 3 fat balls leave your liver and they go into your bloodstream. Go back. What made my liver filled up? Was it fat? No. Was it fat? No. Well, it wasn't fat that you were eating. It was fat that was stored because you were eating too much sugar and carbohydrates. Guys, fat don't make you fat. And fat is good for you. Don't fear fat. Don't fear fat. Because scientifically, nutritionally, that's how your body operates. And if you don't eat enough fat, okay, what else does your liver do? Your liver will not produce enough HDL, cholesterol that travels through your bloodstream looking to hitch its wagon to triglycerides. Chris, my friend, I don't know you. You're wrong, Zoe. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean I don't love you. I love you, but you're wrong. When I used to get a vegetarian in the office, I said, I love you. Honestly, I do. But you're wrong. Vegan, you're a wonderful person. You meant well, but you're wrong. Fat don't make you fat. Fat doesn't give you triglycerides. Fat will not feed cancer cells. Cancer cells can't feed on fat. They just can't. They need glucose. And they're looking. And so let's talk about insulin for a minute. Because he brought it up. Okay? When you have a steak. Okay? And when I say steak, guys, it could be pork chops. It could be, even hamburger. I use steak as, red meat, but, it's meat, okay? When you have that, okay, don't fear it. It's nothing but good for you. And guys, you know this, but the world don't. It's not calories. Insulin, when you have a steak, insulin, you're putting it really on the sidelines. It's not that you're not, look, insulin is a food hormone. So when you're eating, you're going to use some insulin. But when, why I called the metabolic reset fasting without fasting, is because when you're choosing the right foods, you don't need a lot of insulin. What he was saying about insulin's not true. It's not true. You need, and he said fat causes insulin resistance. No, it doesn't. Fat doesn't cause insulin resistance. Carbs do. And guys, I look, the worst thing you can do is eat, okay, Doc, what's the worst food you could eat? A donut? I don't know. It's bad. Why? Well, you have carbs and fat. See, God didn't invent donuts. How do you know that? Because God never put carbs and fat together. Fat is meant to be eaten with protein. That's nature. That's God's diet. Okay? So you don't have carbs like a donut, lots of carbs, and bad fat, hydrogenated oil. Right? You go to Dunkin' Donuts or you go to Tim Hortons and you buy a donut or you buy a muffin. Don't do that. Why? Now you're going to need an enormous amount of insulin. Okay? Listen, we eat 100 times more sugar today than we did 100 years ago. 100 times more. Chris, you got it wrong. And one of the worst things that happened was that we changed the fat. We changed the sugar. We went from glucose to high fructose corn syrup. You want to talk about gumming up the liver? High fructose corn syrup, the antichrist of sugars, my friend. They changed the sugar. The food industry changed the fat. No eating butter. Butter's no good. You got to eat our margarine. You better have some of our seed oils. And go down the middle aisles of your grocery store, my friend, and you'll see nothing but 33,000 items on average in a grocery store. And 90-something% of them are garbage. Because they combine carbs and fats. You want to combine fat and protein in nature. Why do you think cheese is so good for you? Why do you think I love dairy? I love dairy. I just don't like grocery store milk. I love dairy. Don't ditch dairy and don't fear fat. Take it in nature. Take it the way it's meant to be. When you eat an egg, you'll see a lot of fat in an egg. You'll see a lot of protein in an egg. You'll see no carbohydrates in an egg. When you eat bacon. And I love you guys because you keep me honest, okay? Because you guys don't miss a thing. Dr. Martin, I'm trying to do the reset and I'm looking at bacon and I can't find any without sugar. And you guys are, I love that you're so smart. You're reading your labels. I'll tell you what, you can have a little bit of sugar if it's in the bacon, okay? You guys, though, I mean it. The smartest audience on the planet. I got it. Okay? So, Chris, my friend, I don't know you. I appreciate you writing articles and whatever. And I sure appreciate one of our faithful followers who sent it in and said, I really want to know what Dr. Martin thinks about this. I think, and you know what she said? She said, I think I know already. Yeah. Look, guys, don't be confused, okay? I know there's different voices coming at you 24/7, okay? 24/7, you're going to get different voices, and it's going to be plants, and meat is bad, and carbs, your body can't live without carbs, your brain can't live without carbohydrates. Listen, if your brain needs any glucose, your body is so smart, it'll take a steak and turn it into sugar for your brain up here. But you know what your brain likes better? Ketones. Likes fat. It would rather get fat as fuel. So guys, look, I want to be questioned. I want to be questioned. I want you guys to think. God gave you a brain, use it. Okay? I mean it. Use it or lose it. So you guys, you're doing your studying. I like that. I invite questions. I mean it. I don't hide away from that kind of thing. I appreciate it. Okay? I'm right. They're wrong. That settles it. No, guys, that's science, though. What I gave you today was a science lesson in nutrition. It's just the way your body breaks down food, And it sounds right? Like, oh, look at a blood vessel. Look at all the fat in there, and it's gonna be bad, right? Like, look at look at cholesterol. That's clogging up your arteries. No, it's not. That's not the way it works. It's lubricating. Fat, good fat, turns to oil. It lubricates. Okay, guys. Tomorrow, question and answer Friday. So tomorrow morning, okay, Lord willing, what are we doing? Question and answer Friday. I'm pretending I'm on my radio show in the old days again. Live. Calls coming in, okay? Maybe we'll do that someday. I don't know. we'll have calls coming in, and maybe we'll do that. We'll see. Okay. Okay, guys. Love you dearly. Talk to you soon.